What if our understanding of life, even our own bodies, is far more expansive and, well, frankly, stranger than we ever imagined?
That's a pretty big question to start with.
It is, and that's the mind-bending territory we're diving into today on the deep dive.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What have we got?
We're looking at a really fascinating paper by J. Alfred. It's called Humans as Hybrid Plasma Carbon Life Forms.
Oh, right. I've heard of Alfred's work. It's definitely out there.
It is. This was published on Medium, May 25th, 2025,
Yes.
and dated June 9th, 2025. And it really challenges some core ideas in evolutionary biology.
So what's the mission for us today?
Our mission is to unpack the main arguments, pull out the key bits, and really explore this pretty astonishing possibility that humans might not just be carbon-based,
You mean like something else entirely?
or maybe composites. Alfred uses the term chimera, a mix of visible and, well, invisible life.
Wow. Okay, so where does he even start with an idea like that? It sounds pretty radical.
He actually grounds it, surprisingly, in familiar biology first. He talks about symbiosis.
Right. Different species living together, often helping each other out, like lichen or bacteria in our gut.
Exactly. And he highlights how this idea itself was a big shift, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Moving beyond just pure competition in evolution.
Oh, absolutely. It shows cooperation is just as vital for, life's diversity and how resilient it is.
And then he dives deeper into endosymbiosis.
Which is where one organism actually lives inside another one's cells.
Yeah. And the classic example, the one that still kind of blows my mind, is the mitochondrion in every single one of our cells.
Right, the powerhouses of the cell. The theory is they were originally bacteria.
Exactly. Bacteria that got inside an early human cell, maybe as an invader or a food, but instead of being digested, they formed this beneficial partnership.
A merger, deep inside our own biology.
It's fundamental. And this wasn't just a one-off thing, was it?
No, not at all. Lynn Margulis, the biologist, really championed this.
Ah, Margulis.
Yeah, she argued that endosymbiosis means life isn't just a branching tree like Darwin described. It also fuses, merges, creating this complex web.
The Darwin-Margulis's net of life, she called it.
That's the one. It suggests life is much more, I guess, collaborative than we usually think.
And look no further than us. Our bodies are like walking examples of cooperation.
Definitely. All those bacteria we carry around.
Get this, the latest estimates I saw from 2016 suggest maybe 30 trillion human cells and 38 trillion bacteria living together pretty peacefully.
It's incredible. We're basically ecosystems.
Totally. So if our bodies are already these amazing symbiotic communities,
Then maybe that principle could extend even further, beyond what we can easily see or measure.
precisely. And that right there is the springboard into Alfred's more radical ideas, the enigma of plasma.
Plasma, like lightning or the sun?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Could there be a different kind of life based on that? He points to some experiments from the early 2000s.
Oh, what experiments were those?
By two Russian physicists, Loznianu and Sangeloviciu, they managed to create these electrical plasma spheres or cells in the lab. And these things showed lifelike qualities. They could metabolize, communicate, even replicate.
Replicate. Plasma.
Yeah. And they spontaneously formed membranes, even something like a nucleus. They looked eerily similar to our own eukaryotic cells.
That's wild. Did the researchers think they'd created life?
Sangeloviciu was quoted saying something like, "The cell-like spheres we describe could be at the origin of other forms of life we have not yet considered." So it definitely opened a door.
A door to plasma life forms. But, okay, if that's possible, why don't we see plasma creatures floating around?
That's the immediate question, isn't it? And the answer really comes down to physics. Ordinary plasma needs extreme heat.
Like thousands of degrees Kelvin.
Exactly. Maybe on the early molten Earth, 4.6 billion years ago, before carbon life showed up, conditions were right. But now,
Now Earth's surface is, comparatively, freezing cold and dense, hostile to that kind of plasma.
right, it would just vaporize our kind of tissue anyway. And natural plasma just dissipates instantly, unless it's confined, like by a magnetic field. And even Earth isn't strong enough down here. The particles just recombine too quickly.
So ordinary plasma life on Earth's surface today seems unlikely.
Very unlikely. But what about other ideas? There was talk of bioplasma back in the 70s, wasn't there?
Ah, yes. In Yushin and Sedlak, they proposed this idea of bioplasma inside living things, maybe concentrated in the brain.
But that was based on indirect evidence, right? Kirlian photography.
Mostly, yeah. That technique measures electrical discharges, but later studies showed things like moisture and even dirt could explain the effects.
So they never actually detected this bioplasma directly.
No, they didn't. And other researchers like Quickenden and Tilbury later on argued pretty strongly that substantial, ordinary bioplasma just can't exist in the body
Why not?
because of basic physics constraints. Things like W lengths and plasma frequencies, essentially how plasma behaves electrically on small scales. Their calculations suggested that inside the human body, you just wouldn't get stable, independent plasma bodies forming. Maybe tiny charged particle soups, but not true plasma.
Right, not self-contained entities.
Exactly. Conventional biology and physics seemed enough to explain things. So, the ordinary bioplasma idea didn't really hold up to scrutiny.
Okay, so ordinary plasma doesn't work on Earth's surface, and the old bioplasma idea seems shaky. Where does Alfred go from there?
This is where he makes the big leap into the dark sector.
Dark matter and dark energy. That kind of dark sector.
Precisely. He suggests that if plasma life exists here, it's not ordinary plasma, but dark plasma, made from particles and forces beyond our standard model.
Okay, now we're really going deep. How would dark plasma be different?
Well, most dark sector particles are thought to be electrically neutral, but some theories allow for a small fraction to have a weak electric charge.
Self-interacting dark matter, is that the term?
Sometimes, yeah, and that weak charge is crucial for Alfred's idea.
How so?
It means dark electrons and protons wouldn't bind together so strongly, making stable dark plasmas easier to form. Plus, the abundant neutral dark particles would kind of insulate the charged ones.
Ah, helping to sustain the plasma.
Exactly. It suppresses the instabilities you see in ordinary plasma and allows for charge separations, which are key for biological-like processes.
And crucially,
Dark plasma would interact only very weakly with ordinary matter, like us. So it wouldn't burn or vaporize tissue. It could exist right here, interpenetrating our space.
like invisible plasma spheres all around us, or even in us.
That's the idea. Interpenetrating, wholly dark plasma spheres could be stable habitats.
Okay, my head's spinning a bit. So, invisible dark plasma life forms existing alongside us. How does he connect that to humans specifically?
This brings us back to endosymbiosis, but on a cosmic cross-sector scale. Alfred talks about his concept of dark Earths.
Planets made of dark matter in these dark sectors.
Yeah. And he proposes intersector evolution, extending that Darwin-Margulis net of life across into these hidden realms.
Wow.
And here's the core conjecture. He suggests intelligent dark plasma life from these dark Earths undertook voluntary and opportunistic endosymbiosis with early humans.
Voluntary, they chose to merge with us. Why?
He suggests it was due to proximity, both physical and energetic, and it led to mutualism, a beneficial relationship for both. He called this the plasma-carbon symbiotic life forms hypothesis back in 2008.
A symbiotic link between us and these invisible plasma beings. How would that even work mechanically?
Okay, so the proposed mechanism goes like this. A human fetus in the womb is already sort of interpenetrated by dark matter particles, maybe due to some fifth force we don't know about.
Right.
These higher energy dark plasma beings can't see ordinary matter, but they can sense the dark plasma envelopes around the fetus.
So they detect the dark matter aspect of the fetus.
Yes, and they then opportunistically absorb the fetus by latching onto its lowest energy dark plasma layer, syncing up their frequency.
That sounds like an energetic fusion.
A cross-sector endosymbiosis is Alfred's term. An ordinary matter hosts us, fusing with a dark matter symbiont. Remember, Margulis and Sagan said, all visible organisms evolved by body fusion. Alfred's just taking that across sectors.
And the result of this fusion is?
Homo plasma sapiens, a hybrid, part Homo sapiens, part plasma sapiens from these dark Earths.
Homo plasma sapiens. And he thinks this happens to everyone.
He suggests that because the dark plasma population is likely much larger, this happens to almost every member of the human species.
That's staggering. It fundamentally changes what human means, if this is true.
If it's true, yeah. The implications are huge. Think about the benefits he proposes.
Okay, what are they?
For the human host, maybe augmented cognitive abilities, enhanced thinking, perhaps via quantum processes linked to the plasma body, a big evolutionary plus.
And for the plasma symbiont.
It gets to experience our ordinary matter world through our senses, sight, sound, touch, things it wouldn't have access to in its own dark sector.
So it's like a biological virtual reality headset for the plasma being.
Kind of, and he stresses it's voluntary, initiated by the plasma life form, and still happening today.
But isn't endosymbiosis sometimes a dead end for one partner? one organism just gets absorbed or loses its independence.
That's a fair point, raised by researchers like Keeling and McCutcheon. But Alfred argues this specific symbiosis is transient,
Transient, meaning.
meaning the two separate when the host body, the ordinary matter part, dies. The plasma symbiont just continues its existence back in the dark earths.
So it's a temporary partnership, not a complete absorption. It stays mutual.
That's the idea, which leads him to call us plasma carbon chimeras.
Chimeras, like the mythological beast made of different animals.
Exactly. A composite of two distinct species origins, Homo sapiens and Plasma sapiens.
Okay, this is where it gets really weird, though. If we're chimeras, does each part have consciousness?
Alfred posits yes. Both the human body and the dark plasma body have their own consciousness.
Two minds in one body, sharing the same subjective space.
Yeah. Which could lead to, internal conflicts, power dynamics, maybe even inner conversations between the two selves.
That sounds incredibly hard to imagine. Is there any real-world parallel for that?
Actually, yes. Alfred points to the Hogan twins, Krista and Tatiana.
Oh, the conjoined twins.
Right, born in 2006. They're craniopagus twins, sharing part of their skull, and crucially, their brains are connected at the thalamus.
The sensory relay center.
Exactly. So they can actually share sensory input. One can sometimes see through the other's eyes or feel what the other feels. They can even control each other's limbs sometimes.
Wow. But are they one person?
No, that's the key thing. Despite this incredible neural bridge, they have distinct personalities, different preferences. One famously loves ketchup, the other hates it.
So two separate minds, demonstrably sharing subjective space and sensory input.
Precisely. It's a medically documented case that shows it's possible, lending some tangible weight to the abstract idea of two consciousnesses coexisting within a single system, like Alfred's proposed chimera.
Okay, that example does make the concept slightly less abstract. So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for science?
The big challenge Alfred tars down is that current evolutionary biology only looks at the Homo sapiens part. It completely ignores this potential homoplasma component.
And if that plasma part provides a cognitive boost,
Then a huge chunk of our brain's evolution and capability is just missing from our current theories, unaccounted for.
it forces science to potentially expand its framework quite dramatically.
Hugely, beyond the visible, beyond carbon, into these, darker possibilities.
It really is an astonishing proposition, isn't it? That we might be this intricate fusion, part carbon, part intelligent plasma from a parallel sector.
It changes everything.
So the thought to leave everyone with is, if our minds are composites, if we are sharing this space with an invisible intelligence, what does that actually mean for our sense of self, our consciousness, how we perceive reality, maybe even our place in the cosmos?
It definitely redefines human and opens up a whole universe of unseen possibilities, potentially right here, woven into us.
A truly deep dive into the strange and potentially interconnected nature of life itself.